Brand new segment called Free Agent Frenzy.
With brand new music.
Well, that's our frenzied music.
Oh.
Free agent negotiating just around the corner, so we're going to take a look at three superstars, starting with Kyrie Irving. Mark Cuban says it's not a Kyrie or bust situation, but he does want the star point guard back. Here's the tale of the tape, Brew. 20 games, 27 points, 6 assists. Shot 51% from the field, almost 40% from three. But he did go 5-11, 16 games with Luka. So where do you want to see Kyrie end up?
Well, looking at around the league, I don't see, other than the Lakers, which I've said, is the best fit for him. I don't see like another team where it's like, oh, that would be the place for Kyrie. You could have argued Phoenix before they got Bradley Beal, but obviously that's out. So I will say Lakers, but I'll throw this little caveat at you, Nick. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but look.
You have the same one I do. Let's just see.
Is Minnesota.
Oh,
okay, Minnesota's going nowhere with their big three of Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, and Anthony Edwards. So what about a Rudy Gobert?
Can't happen.
Mike Conley.
Wait, with more?
Deal for Kyrie, sign and trade, Kyrie and Christian Wood. Because I know the Mavs want to get off Christian Wood.
Yeah.
And they need defense, which Gobert would give
for the Mavs,
and Conley.
For the Mavs, it makes sense.
Kyrie, Cat, and Anthony Edwards?
Hold up. Bro. The Minnesota Timberwolves.
So you like it for the Mavericks?
Sure.
Okay.
The Minnesota Timberwolves just gave up Walker Kessler, 3 other players, 4 draft picks for Rudy Gobert.
And where are they going with that?
That's not going to work.
I'm just telling you.
That's what I'm saying.
If they make a big move, they're trading Karl Anthony Towns. They're not trading Rudy Gobert.
Is that team, as they are now, better without than the team with Kyrie?
I actually think you lose Rudy Gobert defensively, you then add Kyrie. I don't know. I just think Karl Anthony Towns could be moved.
Just a little
All right, so here's where I would like to see him. And I think it is unlikely, but would help both teams. I would like to see a sign and trade with the Los Angeles Clippers for either of them. I'd call the Clippers and say, you pick. You want to give us Paul George, who you already shopped, or you want to give us the better player but with the far greater injury risk, Kawhi Leonard? Because here's what's happening. You guys are opening a brand new stadium that is your own. And you risk Kawhi and Paul George both being gone. They both have player options. You can have a guy who at the very least puts butts in the seats and can give you a point guard scoring punch. Meanwhile, for the Mavericks, it is the exact type of player you have to pair with Luka. Either one of those guys doesn't need the ball in his hands, can score, and can defend. It would shake the snow globe for both franchises that desperately need to shake it. Now, obviously,
not bad.
It is
I like it.
Again, Kyrie is not nearly the player Kawhi is. But even with his unreliability, he's more available than Kawhi is. And Paul George, they were shopping him already.
And so the thing is, I don't see the Clippers giving Kyrie the long-term deal.
Well, they're not worried about the money. Ballmer's one of the richest men in the world, and they need to make sure they have a star when that stadium opens. That is now a legit concern for them. That
you would, if you're Dallas, you do it for Kawhi
in a heartbeat. And I would just be saying, gosh darn it, man. We keep spinning the roulette wheel and trying to find Luka a second star. We're gonna, at this point, we might as well go all in on the riskiest but the highest upside. And again, you know that my belief that Kawhi is clearly damaged goods,
right.
But I think everyone would agree that Kawhi and Luka fit perfectly, and they complement each other. And you would be trading, your questionable fit in Kyrie for their I don't know.
It's interesting.
It's something.
I think at the end of the day, he's in Dallas.
Yeah, I think so too, but that's not where I want to see him.
Right.
That's not what
That's not bad.
It's supposed to be frenzy.
Frenzied, sorry.
Next up, James Harden. Last time we saw Harden, he was walking off the court with 9 points, 5 turnovers, and the Sixers lost an elimination game by 24 points. Here's the tale of the tape for the year. Not too shabby. Almost 70 games, 21 points, 10 assists.
Yeah.
So, Nick, where do you want to see Harden?
Okay, not Houston, especially after the draft they just had. They took Amen Thompson. They also then got Cam Whitmore, who a lot of people thought was going to be a top 10 pick. Yeah. They already have Jalen Green, Jabari Smith. That one doesn't, Şengün, sorry, but I was just saying perimeter players. It didn't make sense before. I thought Phoenix might make sense, but they went with Beal. So the answer is Philly. The answer is Philly with Nick Nurse and try to, see if Embiid and Harden can get over the hump together. I will say, I think the exact same thing I just talked about with Kyrie is worth a call if you're Daryl Morey.
Just keep sending everybody to
the Clippers thing.
You don't want to dump everybody.
No. But I'm saying for the same reasons that for the Clippers would, in my fake world, consider it for Kyrie, I think they would consider it for Harden because of the fit and because
he's from LA.
He's from, I do think, and either one of those guys would fit well alongside.
Remember when I beat you guys?
Back. And so but I think the answer is Philly.
I don't see a fit anywhere else in the league. I got to be honest.
The whole league?
Yeah. Do you, when you look at timetable of winning, like we're trying to win now or we're young, that's why Houston doesn't make sense. We got all these young guys that need the ball. We want to see who can play. I don't want to bring in James Harden for that. A lot of teams are in that position. And then if I'm trying to win a championship, I got to be honest, I don't feel like bringing in James Harden is helping me. As good as he is in the regular season, I just don't feel like I can count on him in the playoffs in the big games or in at least some of the big games.
That's not a feeling. That's a fact.
Right. So if I'm one of these teams that's close, I'm like, nah, he's not getting us over the hump. So I think Philly is the place. And I actually think he has been using Houston to up the value with Philly. Yeah.
Well, I think it's that, but I also think he'd be okay with going back there. I mean, he loved Houston, man. He didn't quit. But he did love it.
Go there in the offseason.
Yeah. Okay.
He did quit
maybe do a
them,
sign and trade. Will that work? Sign and trade?
Yeah. For him to go to Houston?
To go to Houston?
But why?
They don't even need
They have cap
space. They got cap space.
Are you trying to get Şengün on the Sixers?
I'm just trying to bring some of the young guys out of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Finally, Mr. Triple-Double. Russ would need to take a huge pay cut to stay with the Clippers. Here's his numbers last year, including the playoffs. Only 26 games, kind of mediocre, 8-7. But he had that 3-game run against the Suns, 28, 30, and 37 points. All losses, though, Bruce, so a little bit of a mixed bag. Where do you want to see Russ?
The Clippers. And I know they can only pay him $3.8 million.
Yeah.
With the wink that if this season goes well, will extend you at a higher number the following season. The Clippers is the place for him. And if he goes somewhere else for more money, I respect that. I can't tell him about his money. But he's made a lot of money. He's made hundreds of millions of dollars already. And there is he's great I told you guys before he went there, I thought it'd be a great fit because they need his energy. Mm-hmm. He'll have the ball in his hands. He's starting, like you said, Kawhi and Paul George can play off the ball. He and Paul George are great friends, have great respect for each other. This is the place for him. Ty Lue loves him. Anywhere else he goes is not going to be this type of fit. So I think he can kind of get back his image and his reputation as he started to do in the playoffs with this team. So I'd love to see him stay with the Clippers.
Okay, I would not. I'll tell you where I want, but it's not happening. Then I'll tell you 2 plays I think could. I want OKC. I would like him to go back.
But why? Does that make any sense for OKC?
If you were to get, this is going to sound funny, but he'll accept a role as a sixth man, an energy guy off the bench. It's not going to happen. I know it. But I'm just saying he is the most important player in the history of that franchise. I like that. He's going to have a statue there one day, and I think they are ready to start competing for they were already competing for the playoffs, but if Shea takes the lead,
Shed will be back.
And I like Giddey a lot. Jalen Williams, they have good players, but that's not going to happen.
The Lakers.
So 2 plays. I think I would bet money he ends up on one of these next 2 teams. Okay. Brooklyn is a possibility in this regard. They have no incentive to tank at all because they don't have their own picks.
Right.
They have picks, but they're not their own picks. They have a hole at that spot. He and Bridges could, be something of a duo there. Or the team I think he's going to end up on, the Chicago Bulls. They don't have a point guard because Lonzo, unfortunately, his career might be over. They are trying to win. They have LaVine. They have DeRozan.
So you like that big 3? DeMar, Westbrook, and LaVine?
I don't like it at all, but I don't think the Bulls are just going to wave the white flag on the season before the year starts. He's a Jordan Brand guy. I think he's going to end up either on the Bulls or the Nets, and my money would be that he's going to end up on the Bulls.
I think you should stay with the Clippers.
I think he should stay. And he's
He
from
ain't
LA.
playing for $3 million.
Play with $3 million.
He's not doing it.
Well, what price happiness?
He's
He's
just
going to go
thoughtful
somewhere
guy.
else, be miserable.
No,
They'll be
that's
saying
fair.
Westbrook, and he's like, don't do that. Don't call me that. It's
Nick,
gonna be
you
a
know it
disaster.
would not go good in Chicago.
Why?
Because they don't fit.
What?
Just the reason it didn't go well with the Lakers.
Okay, guys, we're saying it went great with the Clippers based purely on a week when they got their ass kicked.
No.
Like,
but he likes
His
it.
whole
He was
time
happy.
there, he played well.
But that was-
He's from LA.
He
Okay.
was from LA when he was on the Lakers.
Yeah, but this is a chance to redeem yourself in your hometown.
Remember when he was struggling? It's like, he feels a lot of pressure playing in his hometown.
Clippers, that's where he should stay.
Coming up next, more Clippers news. We're chock full for the West Coast.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.